Hello and welcome back to my channel, where I'll be sharing with you my love for all things plants and gardening. One thing that I wanted to talk about today is the fact that because it's January, all of us gardeners, we've got those twitchy fingers, those itchy, I want to get starting sowing my seeds fingers. And I totally get it. I get it, but let's take it down a notch. Let's take a deep breath and just have a little think. Okay. Every year, I'm thinking primarily on Instagram, which is where I share a lot of my content, well, most of my content up to date because this channel is new. There's this annual debate about when to start sowing seeds. Is it too early? Essentially, it depends on you and your conditions. It's a bit cliche to say, but if you're down in Cornwall, you're going to have very different conditions to if you're in Lancashire, for example, and so you might want to get started sooner. The main thing is, though, that January is cold and dark, and let's face it, it's a bit miserable. Sorry, but it just is. It's January, and those aren't the best conditions for starting off your seeds. But I do get it. I do understand. The last few years in the UK, our growing seasons haven't been that great, to be honest. The summers have been a bit damp. There are a lot of problems with slugs and blight, which affected a huge number of people's tomato and potato crops. When you're looking at crops like your chilies, your tomatoes, aubergines, sweet peppers, they are very long season crops anyway. You would normally be looking to start them towards the end of February or March. But given the last couple of years, by doing that, we've got to a point where just as it starts to warm up and you want to be harvesting your fruit, they're only just getting started, and so you've missed out on a whole crop, and that's rubbish. And it's so disappointing as a grower to miss out on one of the key harvests. So like I say, I understand why people want to start earlier, and there are some things that we can do to help, and I'm definitely going to be starting probably next week. I'm going to start my chilies off actually, and I'm going to be using most of these things that I'm about to show you. What I am not saying, if you're a new grower, I'm not telling you to go out and buy all of this stuff, okay? Have a think about where you want to focus, and maybe if you've got, if you've got a little bit of budget for it, pick and choose where to put that. Don't go and get all of the kit. All right, there are other things that we can do. Main reason that if you start your veggies, well, the main reason if you start your seedlings off right now, you're not going to have any success, is the lack of heat and light. Okay, so we want to replicate those things, and we can do that really easily. The first thing we can do is a heat mat. Now, I've just bought this one. I've got two other ones that I have used. Oh God, I've been using them for about 5 years, those ones, and they're so good. I just wanted to add in another one because I have big plans. big plans. I want my peppers. I missed my peppers. I like to sit in the garden with a plate of padrons in the summer, maybe a rosé. And I didn't really get to do that very much last year, so I'm upping my game. They just plug into the mains. You can get ones with a little dial on so you can control the temperature. I've never found that necessary, to be honest. This will get you to around 18 to 20 degrees, which is what you need. That's what you want. So these are fab. If you're going to put it on something like this indoors or on a table or even a windowsill, you might want to maybe have something like a tea towel or something underneath just to protect your surfaces. They should be fine, but it can get a bit messy. I've never had heat damage. The one thing I've had is just damage from water, but be on the safe side with that one. So I recommend these, and they're quite cheap to run as well. Okay, so the next thing is one of these. This is a heated propagator. So again, like the heat mat, you plug it into the mains, and again, like the heat mat, you can get temperature controlled ones. They can get very expensive. I mean, the price range is ridiculous when it comes to these things, but you've got space for water reservoir. You can get ones with capillary matting, which helps make sure the seedlings get the right amount of water. But you just have these little pots pots, your little seed trays. This bit on top, the lid on top, is like a little greenhouse. And again, it just works in exactly the same way as a heat mat. But I love it. Something else that you could try is you just take this bit. You don't need the heated propagator part. You can just buy these separately. Seeds in the compost, and then pop that on top of the radiator. I was going to say you could put it in the airing cupboard, but that's not. As long as you're checking it every day to make sure that you can remove it once the seeds are up. You could also put that in your airing cupboard or hot press, whatever you would like to call it. You could do that. Finally, when we're thinking about heat, the humble sandwich bag. Pop your pot or tray in there, zip it up, and then you've got yourself a little greenhouse. Again, that can go on a radiator and it can go on a heat mat. You're going to take it off again as soon as your seeds have germinated anyway. But that is a really good way. Most people just have them lying around in their drawers anyway, but that's a really good way to get some of your seeds started. This is probably how I'll do my sweet peas. I'll do them in 9cm pots, and then I'll probably put 2 pots in one of these. Now the other thing, so we've done heat. The other thing that we really need to give our seedlings once they've germinated is light. The light levels in January in the UK are rubbish for growing. So we as growers need to bring up that artificial light for them. Unfortunately, normal light bulbs, they're not going to do the trick. They don't have the right sort of frequency that your seedlings are going to need. If you just leave them on the windowsill with nothing else, there's a good chance that they're going to go leggy, and that's just when your plant will go like this and then maybe have a little leaf on top and then go again. It's reaching to get to the light. They're reaching to get to the light. So you've got all this weak stem that's got a good chance of getting broken. What you want is really nice, strong growth, strong, sturdy stems, lots of leaves next to each other. We've not got these big stem gaps because they're growing so fast, they're trying to reach the light. Okay, we don't want leggy plants. Okay, well, leggy plants are not happy plants. You can see here for my house plants, I do have a couple. I've got this one here is a clip-on. It clips onto this plant pot here, and then I've got another one in the back there that's just serving these plants. These are tropical house plants. I mean, these ones don't need particularly high humidity, so they're fine just out, but they do need a lot of light, and so I do have the clip-on ones for those. For my veggies, for my seedlings, so my setup, I haven't done it yet because I'm not, like I say, I'm not starting for another week or so, but I will film it. I will show you once I'm set up. I essentially use like greenhouse staging, plastic greenhouse staging, and I put it against the back doors because I've got, what are they called? French doors? Not the slidey ones, just the... Anyway, I've got those, and I'll put my greenhouse staging up there. It's next to a plug, so I can use my heat mats and my propagator. And then I have these. These, my friend, are my grow lights. These are brilliant. I've got to say they're brilliant. They have so they're on. You can move them about. They're on flexible wires, so you can move them around. So I love that because I've got like a 3-tier staging system, so I can have top tier, middle tier. You can spread them about. You know, they're fab. You can direct the light to where you need it. You just get the one set, and then you can change the frequencies. This particular one has got, so you can have it on a timer. You can have it on a timer, which is good. I need to give it a bit of a scrub. Sorry, it's been in the shed. Pop it on a timer. You can have different colours for different frequencies depending on what you want to do with it. I usually have it on the purple lights just to give my neighbours a fright. But yeah, so I highly recommend grow lights. If there's one thing you want to do, grow lights, this is where I would put my money. They are invaluable. You will really up your game. You'll have nice strong plants. They're going to grow lovely. They're going to be lush. They're going to be just yeah, that's the one thing I would recommend. However, aluminium foil, people. Aluminium foil. Bear with me on this one. So you've got your, hang on. So imagine your seedlings have germinated, your seeds have germinated, and you've got some little seedlings in there. You want to put it on the windowsill because you don't have any grow lights, and you think, oh yeah, this is where they're going to get the most light. Fair play. You can fashion like a little sheet, like a little shield, a screen, a mirror, whatever you want to call it, and that's going to reflect the sunlight back onto the plant. So the little that it gets is going to actually straight back onto the plant. It may sound silly, it may sound simple, but actually it's really effective. So this is something else that's really easily done. And you can line your shelves with it, line your windowsills, create a little screen. Super duper. Whilst we're on the subject of equipment, I just wanted to give a little shout out for your actual pots and trays and things. I mean, this is the time of year that I begin, and growers up and down the land begin to hoard yoghurt pots and fruit punnet trays and mushroom trays and all of that kind of stuff. We start hoarding them because they all make great ceiling trays. As long as you make sure you poke a few little holes in the bottom, you don't have to spend anything on anything that you wouldn't already on your food shop. But something that I do like, and I just thought because we're talking about equipment, is these sea trays. These are the Charles Dowding ones. I've got them in a couple of sizes. I do have the size up as well. Yes, okay, they are plastic, but they are heavy duty. I'm pretty sure they're recycled, but don't quote me on that, but I think they're recycled plastic. But they're really good quality, and these are going to last for years and years. When we're talking about not liking plastic, it's single use. So something like this that's going to last you, I would much rather buy this than be buying those little flimsy ones that you see. That everything has its place. Everything has its time and place. If you're just starting out and you're not sure if this is the hobby for you, I would say save your yogurt pots and your great punnets and things and try it that way. But if you did want to get some cell trays from Poundland or the garden centre, B&Q, whatever, you can get recycled ones these days as well, and they're pretty good, but they'll probably only last you a season. But if you are just, like you say, if you're just experimenting with gardening, fair enough. But if you're a season or two deep and you know this is for you, then I do recommend these ones. That's pretty much it for January seed sowing. The one thing something else I would say is, as well as heat and light, you're going to need patience. We're in it for the long haul, people. If we're starting in January, we are long haulers. We will get there. It'll be fun. But don't expect anything too soon, okay? Just hang on in there and it will be worth it, okay? So, I think it's time for a cup of tea. This was my first proper YouTube video. I know I did an intro one, but this was my first proper video for YouTube, so I'd love to know what you think. If you have any questions about anything, or if there are topics that you'd like me to cover on anything in the planter universe. I'm hoping to do some day trips as well and cover those. I'll vlog those. Vlog. That sounds so YouTubey. I'm such a nerd. But yeah, this was my first proper YouTube, so I've probably got the excited hands and I move around too much and blah blah blah, but I will get better, I promise. And I want to give you the content that you're interested in, so drop me a comment below, or you can message me on Instagram. I'm pumpkins, it's pumpkins_etc over there. Give me a thumbs up and please do subscribe. I would love it if you would subscribe. That would make my day.